Rashi, the Torah portion. We're in Vezos Habracha, and we're in the fourth reading. We are in chapter 33, verse number 18. Well, Zvulun Amar. And to Zvulun he said, Amar Samach Zvulun b'tzeischa. Rejoice, Zvulun, in going out. V'yisachar b'oyelecha, and Yisachar in your tents. Rashi. Zvulun Amar, to Zvulun he said, these are the 5 tribes that he blessed last. Zvulun, Gad, Dan, Naphtali, Asher. Those are the 5. Kafel Mishmaisam, and he repeated their names, like as we'll see. So for Zvulun, we say it's doubled, not Yisachar, but Zvulun doubled his name, said it twice. Why? To strengthen them and to fortify them. Because they were the weakest among all the tribes. They were the same ones that Yosef brought before Pharaoh these 5 brothers. As it says, as a part of the brothers, he took 5. Why he took those who were visibly looked weaker, in order that Pharaoh should not appoint them for himself as military officers. Right? They look like strong guys, capable guys. So then he's going to take them for officers. So, right. So just as it was over there, so likewise it's over here, and that's why their names are repeated twice, to just give strength to them. Rejoice, Zvulun, in your departure, and Yisachar in your tents. Zvulun, Yisachar, also Shutas. Why are they in the same verse together? Because they made a partnership, Zvulun and Yisachar. Zvulun l'chayf yamim. Zvulun, he was dwelled at the seashore. And he would go out in business on ships, right? He was dwelling on the seashore. He went out there, when he was stuck out, and he would earn a profit. And from the profits, he would feed Yisachar, and others support them with money that he earned. And the men of Yisachar, they sat and learned Torah. And that's why Zvulun comes ahead of Yisachar, even though he's younger. Zvulun is younger than Yisachar, so he should have come after Yisachar. But Yisachar, because the Torah of Yisachar, Zvulun Haisa, came through Zvulun, because Zvulun supported him, so therefore they could learn. So in that merit, Zvulun, even though he's younger, goes first in the verse. Samach Zvulun says, Zvulun, rejoice in your departure. Succeed when you depart and for trade. Yisachar, succeed. And sitting in your tents to study Torah. They would sit and set the leap years, fix the months. Right, this is before there was a calendar, so these are some of the things they did. As it says, the sons of Yisachar, they were those who understood how to know time properly, and the birth of the moon and all these things. Rashi Masayim, the heads were 200. 200 heads of the Sanhedrin. Would deal with this. According to the times and the leap years that they fixed, based on, their calculations. And then, of course, through the witnesses that came, but they needed to know this, so they knew how to properly interrogate. Amim ha yikru. They will call peoples to the mountains. And there they will offer righteous offerings. Kishef yamim yinaku, because of the abundance, the flow of the seas, they will be nourished. Usvunei tmuna chel, and the treasure is hidden in the sand. Rashi, Amim, Shift Israel, referring to the tribes of Israel. That's the peoples it's speaking about. Har, Har Yikro, they call themselves to the mountain. Lahara Maria Yasfu, they will gather to Mount Moriah, right, which is Jerusalem, right? And any gathering comes about through a calling. Okay. Sham, and there they will slaughter, meaning bring offerings for the festivals, right? They're offerings of righteousness. Right. So this is continuation as before, because they will set the calendar so then you know when the holidays are, and therefore that your offerings will be proper offerings for the holiday. Kishefa yami inaku, that they will have plenty, a bounty that they will be nourished from. The Sachar v'Zvulun yelam panai, the Sachar and Zvulun yelam panai will have the free time lasik b'teira of the Sachar to study Torah. Aha, because Zvulun will provide for Yisachar the bounty, so they'll have the proper time that they could study. Osvune tmuna chayil, the concealed treasures in the sand, means kisui tmuna chayil, the things that are covered by the sand, taris tuna, bechilozin, zchuchis lavanan, white glass, ayutzim min hayam, that come from the sea. Minachol, and from the sand. Zvulun haya. This was in the portion of Zvulun. As it says in the Talmud, Zvulun am cherev nafshe lamus. Zvulun is people who has cast its soul loose to die. Mishum the Naphtali amarei misodim. Naphtali was on the heights of the fields. Bahaya misarim lezvulun al chelke. And Zvulun complained about his portion in the land of Israel, saying, to Naphtali, you gave him, high places, heights of the fields, and gave him fields and vineyards. And nonetheless, so they got treasures, and they got treasures. Right. In other words, their neighbor, right. So Naphtali is over here further up north. Zulun over here, because Naphtali is on the Kinneret. So they got, I guess, more lush crops. Zvulun is over here. And so they had treasures in the sand. Okay. Husfuni, concealed lashon kisui, an expression of covering. Moshe Nemar, as it says, this one is a bias. The Sofim Eres. Alternatively, instead of meaning that it's concealed, Amim Har Yikaru. An alternative way to understand this verse, to what we explain now. Right. Now we're understanding it. Zvulun is enabling that we can keep the holidays because Issachar is creating the calendar, sitting in their tents. Right. And their land also has treasures hidden in it. Alternative explanation, Shami Amim Hayukro, the people will be called to the mountain, means Ayudei Prakmat Yeshel Zvulun, through the commerce of Zvulun. Tigari Umasa'elam, the merchants of the nations, the world, Boim El Artsei, would come to the land. The Yamid Svar, Asvar, and is situated on the border. And non-Jewish merchants would say, since we had to trouble ourselves to travel to this point already, let's go to Jerusalem. Let's see what this, the God of this nation is all about. We'll go to Jerusalem. And what are the nation's, unique practices? Called Israel. And they would go to Jerusalem and see all of Israel as a result. They would see that we're worshiping one God throughout the land, right? And back in those days, everybody was worshiping, different region, different God. And here they would see that the Jewish people are worshiping one God. They eat the same food, right? They all did cholent for Shabbos. Some called it dafina, but it was all the same. The fish, since the nations of the world, the God of this one, like it's not like the God of that one. The food of this one, and it's not like the food of the other one. And now the people come because of Zulun to do business with, and now they went to Jerusalem. They saw Jews throughout Israel. And they're going to say that there's no nation as proper as this one. Gairin Sham, and they convert to Judaism there in Jerusalem. Shenema Sham Tzedek, and they will slaughter offerings of righteousness. So the first explanation was it's speaking uh, about the festivals and the Jewish people, right? And the second explanation is no, it's about the nations we're talking about are not Jewish nations, non-Jewish nations, and they're going to come because of business, and they'll, in the end, see the greatness of the Jewish people and even convert. Interesting. Ki shefa yamim yinaku, that they will be nourished by the bounty of the seas. Vulam yisachar, both vulam yisachar, hayam nasim lehemamen b'shefa. The sea would provide wealth in a bountiful manner. Verse 20. Well, the God Amar, to God he said, Baruch Marchiv God, blessed is God, blessed is he who grants expansiveness for God. Kilavi Shachin, he dwells like a lion, Betaraf, and he tears off Zraya, the arm of his prey, together together with the head. Rashi 20. Baruch Marchiv God. Blessed is the God who broadens God. Malabed, this teaches us, Shaya, Tchuma Shel God, Marchi Vahelech, that the territory of God was steadily broadened, Kalapi Mizrach, towards the east. Here's God. He's in Transjordan, if you remember, the lush land. So it would broaden towards the east. Right? He was in Jordan, modern day Jordan. Um, Talavi Shochain, he dwells like a lion, Lefishaya Samach Lisfat, because his line was adjacent to the border, Lefika, Nimshalka Rayas. That's why he is compared to lions. Shekola Smuchim Lisfat, because anybody who's adjacent to the border, Tzvichim Lios Giborim, have to be mighty, right? Because they're not only protecting their land, but they're protecting that anybody comes into the land, on the border, then they have, their direct access to the entire country. It's one of the places we learn Jewish law explains and how important the neighboring towns and of Israel being on the border have a special importance in protecting the entire country. Torah v'zoya afkat, so you will tear an arm as well as a head. Harugim ayunikarim. Those who were killed were identified. Chais being haraish. We cut off the head. Imazraya with the arm. B'makachas with a single blow. In other words, that's a hard thing to do with a single blow to knock off a head and an arm. Shows on their great power. Final verse. Yar Eshisloi. He saw the first portion for himself, because there is the portion of the lawgiver, which is referring to Moshe. Sofon, hidden, or right, the first portion for himself, because the portion is given to the lawgiver and hidden. And he came to Roshei Am, to the heads of the people. Tzidkas Hashem Asai, he did the righteousness of God, Mishpatav, and his ordinances, his law. Im Israel, even others, it was lawful with Israel. Rashi 21. Yareshi saw, he saw the beginning for himself. Ra lito loichelik. He saw fit to take a portion of himself. Be'eretz Sicha and Ba'eg, in the land of Sicha and Oig. She reshis kivash haaretz, which is the beginning of the conquest of the land of Israel. Right. Still continuing and speaking about the way about God, right? Because God is on Transjordan. So you got the first portion. Good morning. Okay. Thank you. Huh? Today is not, you're not here for today, right? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Right. So, this was the land of Sichon and Og, right, which was conquered in Moshe's time, and they got this territory. Right. So he saw fit to take a portion for himself. So Ray means here he understood, not that he saw physically, right? She Reishis Kivash it's the beginning of the conquest of the land of Israel. Kisham Chelkas, because there is the hidden plot. Ki Yada, for he knew. In other words, they chose the children of God. They chose this portion, right? Moshe had yet not died, but they knew, and others prophetically, or they had a tradition handed down to them, that he would be buried there. So they wanted that piece of land where he's going to be buried. And there is his inheritance would be Chalkas de Kvurais, the plot of the burial site of Mechayek, of the lawgiver, Moshe, and that's Moshe. Safun, hidden, right? We said. That part, that portion where Moshe is buried is hidden and concealed, and called Biria from all creatures. Shenema, as it says, as at the end of this Torah portion, it says that when he passes away, no one knows where he's buried. Yesay, and he came, God came, Reisha at the heads of the people. Hayalem Hayachim Lifnei Acholutz, they would go ahead of the vanguard. Mikiva Sha'aris in the conquest of the land of Israel, Vishayu Giborim, because they were strong. They were strong. Right? That's what it says. That they were armed and strong, and they went before their brothers. God, right? Because Hashem also, he carried out the righteousness of Hashem. Last Rashi. They fulfilled their words. They kept their promise. To cross the Jordan till they conquered in a portion of the land of Israel. Another meaning of these words, that the righteousness of Hashem they did. They came to the heads of the people because Hashem also carried out the righteousness of Hashem. So this is being said of Moshe, second explanation. Okay, excellent. All right, thank you, folks.
Thank you, Rabbi Fan.
Um, it was on. Okay.